All right, I believe we have started. Welcome to episode 12 of the Young Old Heads podcast. My name is Jerome.
It's your boy Jay Fair.
And it's your boy Uncle Jerry.
All right. the kickoff tonight's episode, we're going to start, thank God NFL's back. You know what I'm saying? Preseason week 1 is in the wraps. Week 2 about to kick off on Thursday. Check ESPN for your boys Jaguars Bucks national televised game. But anyway,
The only time I'm gonna be on national television this whole year.
hey, Jerry, if you're gonna talk like this, go back to the egg face. Anyway, so I guess the first point, you know what I'm saying, I don't know why we didn't draft the kid. We have Sucky Bortles, and we could have a great talent at quarterback right now. But of course, the guy I wanted to draft, Deshaun Watson, looked pretty damn good in his debut. What do you think about Deshaun's debut, Fu?
I think it was pretty good. I mean, it's one game, but it showed his leadership. When he was struggling, he stayed the course and did everything that you need to do at quarterback. But at the beginning of the season, you'll see him mid-season competing for a playoff spot. I think he'll do well for his first season.
What about you, Jared?
I think he'll be starter. I don't know week 1, but I'll say pretty early. And I'm with Fu. I think the AFC South is there, especially with that defense they got, and I expect them to be competing for a playoff spot. I don't know how it'll play out, but I definitely see them competing for a playoff spot, especially with Andrew Luck still being hurt, and you never knowing how that'll go.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna start. I mean, Tom Savage said something today. He said, "It's
it's his team."
Yeah, like everybody knows it's not your team, and if it is your team, you're not making the playoffs. So, okay, it could be your team, and y'all go 6-10. Okay. Good job, Tom.
Okay.
But moving on, we have a little small competition on Brock or Osweiler versus Deshaun Kaiser. A lot of people thought the Browns would eventually just end up cutting Osweiler, but we're in August and he's still the starting quarterback. And camp reports said Kaiser's been looking pretty good. But you guys think Kaiser ends up starting at all this season, or does Osweiler keep the Browns on track, Jerry?
It's the Cleveland Browns, so I don't think Osweiler is going to keep them on track, but he'll probably still be the starter. I mean, it is the Cleveland Browns. They're the GM or whatever said today that they're going to keep Osweiler around. They like the leadership or some hogwash. He said something crazy. He said, but so he'll be on the team, but he'll probably be starting because it's the Cleveland Browns, and I'm kind of against all of them right now with what their coach said. But we'll get to that. So I really don't foresee them competing, making it a competition.
What about you, Fu?
I'm not impressed with Kaiser because it's easy to look good against the Browns defense. And then we go into preseason, he was in with the 3rd and 4th string guys that not gonna make a roster. So yeah, I hope he did look good. I think he's a good talent, but he's not ready, especially to play with the Browns. And I understand they got some okay guys on the offensive line, but in the day he plays for the Cleveland Browns. And he shouldn't be starting this year. Just let Osweiler get killed this year. You learn before you.
I think Kaiser probably ends up starting like the last half of the season. Browns might go like 2-10 and just say, "Who gives a shit? Let's start the kid," and cut bait with Osweiler. So I think he at least starts 3 games this year, but it's not saying much. I don't expect the Browns to do much. They do have talent, even though James won't admit it. They do have some pieces. It just ain't there yet. Yeah, they do have pieces, Jerry. I said it.
They have one player. They have Myles Garrett. Okay.
Okay.
They also had 2 other first-round draft picks this year, too. Don't forget.
Hey, Jabril Peppers. Okay. True.
Okay. And Joker, who gonna throw him the ball? Brock Osweiler? Okay.
Okay, so far, I think the last time I checked, the ACL count was already up to 15. And then I know a Lions player, Kerry Hyder, just tore his Achilles a couple of days ago when he played. What do y'all think about these injuries? I mean, I thought we had a Jaguars receiver. I thought he might have broke his ankle towards ACL, but he just ended up having a sprain. But these guys are dropping like flies right now. What do you think about it, James?
I know some of them are non-contact, but the way it's going, it's going to probably be more because if you go higher, that's a fine. And sometimes these guys not making a lot because on the back end, the rosters on special teams. So most of the guys going to start going low. Not going to get fined for that. And I mean, it's going to have to be more leg injuries like ACL, MCL, meniscus, all that stuff. So I expect more is going to happen, especially when the season gets started. I mean, I understand it always happens week 1 in the preseason, going into camp. It's going to happen, but it's going to be plenty more to come.
What about you, Jared?
It's just scary to me. I know specifically speaking from the Packers, we lost one of our swing guys that plays backup O-line for us, and he went down with a foot injury. Josh Jones today, he rolled his ankle supposedly and was out of practice. Ty Montgomery didn't practice today due to some type of soft tissue type deal or some crap with his leg. So he didn't practice today. So that's just 3 guys who we expected to be guys that were there for us. And even Barclay at the backup part of the line, he's going to play, special teams as far as field goal and things like that. So that's another young guy you got to plug in. I think the preseason needs to be shortened. I think it's time to start speaking on that type of aspect, because even though you're still going to be in camp for a while, you shorten the preseason up. You can bring into some times of how you have to practice. You can give guys more days off. You don't have to go on full pass as much. The guys aren't going to lose that much because the starters don't play. Your elite starters aren't going to play much of game 1 anyway. Game 2, they might play a series. Game 3, so I mean, just cut the preseason down to 2 weeks, and let's get the regular season started. That's just me talking though.
I don't really know how to fix it, because I think some of it to me is, I know you got to protect the players and do less practices, but also I think with the cutback on the amount of time players get on the field, a lot of their bodies aren't really ready for this first week of camp. So they come in, they're doing all these twists and turns, and something snaps because you're not used to it. I mean, I know a lot of players now have a lot of information and technology, how to keep their bodies safe and healthy as possible, but nothing can replace being on that field and actually doing the work. So it's a real catch-22, and I don't know how you avoid it completely, but I don't know. I just hopefully it's just a quick spike right now and injuries drop low. But I don't know. I don't know how to fix these guys' knees because it's getting crazy out there. But moving on, we got what are a couple rookies that have impressed y'all so far, just from camp reports? So what did you, or anything you saw last week in the first batch of games, Jerry?
First, of course, I got to go to the kid we already spoke on, Deshaun Watson. I think he showed why he should have, why he was there, and why we were rallying the circles and wagons for him, and why he should have been that top tier quarterback that we were saying, and a lot of people giving him a lot of flack for. It's going to pain me to say this, but Mitchell Trubisky did play well the other week.
Shout out to Quan.
Yeah, as a Packers fan, it pains me to say he did play well, and I think they got to start him there. So the quarterback play obviously is one of the places that you can really see some guys stand out, especially with those young guys. They're going to play more, and honorable mention to Mahomes out of KC.
How about you, Fu?
All right. So on the offensive side of the ball, I'm gonna go Joe Mixon. I know the kid was talented, but I feel like he's gonna be special. I mean, he can catch the ball in the backfield. He's a powerful runner, and he's quick. I feel like he's a total package. People don't sleep on him because I know he made some bad decisions off the field, which he already paid for. And I feel bad for my boy Jeremy Hill because he's gonna be out of a job, and it's his contract coming up. But on the defense side of the ball, not the Green Bay. But on the defense side of the ball, I'm gonna go TJ Watt, man, for the Steelers. I hate having to play him 2 times a year.
Should have been a Packer.
But he's showing why he should have been a Packer. I mean, watching that game, I feel like he came out, showed his pass rushing ability. And he's one of them guys that's a hard-nosed football player. Doesn't care about the 40 times, the stuff. He can just flat out play football.
For me, like we all said, Watson, he had a really impressive performance. I'll give this guy some credit because I wasn't happy with the pick, but Fournette showed some pretty good bursts when he played for us.
Wow.
He showed some decent bursts. I still would rather have the
Hold on, wait a minute. Freeze. Do we have a minute for that praise from the man who fought us when we said they should pick him doing all of those mock drafts? I didn't hear that right. Am I breaking up?
I think
is my signal good? Did I hear that properly? Is that what you heard, James?
Moving
back. I don't know. It's breaking up or something.
Like I said, I would have rather had Watson, and we'd be better off with him. But Fournette looked okay. He looked pretty good in his debut. Same with Cam Robinson. He looked pretty strong, pass pro and run blocking.
He did.
Carl Lawson, I've heard good reports out of him from camp. Also wanted him. Go figure. Anyway.
Packer. Yeah. Since we're talking about people who should have been Packers.
But yeah, it's still a lot more time for these rookies to shine. Oh, Christian McCaffrey. I like the way he looked too. Running and going outside. He looked like he had it all. But moving on to our last little preseason talk. Start Hard Knocks. Episode 1 premiered last week, and episode 2 is coming out shortly after this is over. Might even start by the time we're wrapping up. But how'd you guys feel about the first episode? Learn about Jameis's country ass and cockroaches and shit.
I mean, I like Jameis as a leader. I feel like better as they should, and I feel like it's gonna show his true colors, his leadership, and having Deshaun Jackson along with Mike Evans. That's a hell of a combination. And I feel like once Doug Martin comes back from a suspension, I feel like they're going to have a good season. Division, I mean, that division is tough to tell. It just switches up just like that every year. But I feel like this year it can be the Bucks. I got them at like 10-6 and 11-5. And I got the pieces to do it, but and I'm enjoying it.
All right, Jared.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like it. It's fun to see how the coaches and the players interact a little bit off the field as well. I'm a big Gerald McCoy fan now. I was always a big fan. On the field, the guy's obviously very talented, but off the field, I think he's kind of that model NFL type player. I know their coaching staff is proud of him and that leadership that he poses on the defensive side of the ball. And I've been impressed by Jameis. It's hard to realize how young Jameis still is, and I think because it seems like we've been watching him play forever that we think that he's this wily old veteran. But Jameis is still a young kid, and he's still he's growing up in front of our eyes, and it's good to see.
Yeah, like y'all said, I mean, it's just good to see James. He's got that personality. Everybody really wants to see the kid win. And eventually he's going to win. He had a pretty good season last year. But just seeing how that young team grows, they got a lot of young pieces on defense, a lot of young guys on offense, crazy receiving core. And, I mean, I think it'll be one of the better seasons coming out, especially because this team's going to be on next week's episode. I want y'all to know that. Having a joint practice these past 2 days with the Bucks, and we play them on Thursday, so you don't get to see a lot of this team beating some Buccaneer ass. Next week's episode, though, not tonight's. Just giving y'all a little preview. You like that, James?
Not at all.
Good talk. Moving on to one of the hotter topics of this week. We got that boy Zeke Elliott. It's crazy on the field, even crazier off of the field. Before we get into the suspension, let's get over what his allegations and some things he's actually done. I know with the domestic abuse case, I think it was like incidents. Ugh, terrible. On the same week with the same girl. All allegations. Nothing was. He wasn't convicted of anything, but doesn't look good nonetheless. And also, he had the St. Patty's incident where he pulled a girl's shirt down, which was, I mean, you can't do that, especially after you've already maybe done some shoddy stuff. But anyway, do you guys, how do you feel about the 6-game suspension? Do you think it was right or a little too harsh? What about Jerry?
The whole suspension, the whole something just seems shady to me about how the whole situation played out, because supposedly Zeke's dad and his lawyers and his agents said that the reason why they couldn't bring criminal charges is because the police found this girl out to be a liar, or they found some discrepancies in her whole story. Then I read the letter that Roger Goodell well, I won't even say Goodell because he took a back seat this time, but that I read the letter that the NFL that they sent him, and they said that they hired these outside investigators and they tried to take it out of their hands, and supposedly they spoke to the police and they found these stories, and they in their investigation she told the truth, but it just wasn't enough evidence for it to be a criminal charge. So something's just the whole situation is just kind of shady to me. I really think, and the St. Patrick's Day thing doesn't really make his case any better, because he hasn't been like the most model citizen. Supposedly he has over 10 in the double-digit number of speeding tickets. So really, this is a way, and whether it's right or wrong, this is a way that the NFL can kind of say, okay, well, if you're a model citizen, we could probably treat you like this, but since you got all of this adding up, it's just a whole crazy situation. I don't know if we'll ever really hear the truth, because the criminal case is closed, and the case that the NFL is going to release, they're probably not going to release their findings. So it's just a whole weird situation. 6 games. The Cowboys, I thought they were going to have a sophomore slump anyway, but we'll see.
How about you, Phil?
For me, the whole NFL thing, man, I just feel like the suspension is just so subjective, because I feel like just the NFL, the National Football League, have like a disciplinary team in there, like a set team or set standards, when everything is just subjective. And I feel like the punter for the New York Jets, he gets 1 game for beating his wife multiple times, over 20 times reported, and all that stuff. Got blackballed. Now Ezekiel Elliott has 6 games. And I feel like it's all subjective, and I feel like it should be a mandate. Say, for example, domestic violence. You put your hand on the woman, you're found guilty. For example, why can't it be like half the season, 8 games? 8-game suspension, no pay and all that. Why can't it be set in stone like that instead of having to get people outside sources in, do this investigation? It's all like a media thing to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I offer that too, James. And to make it even easier, what I want to see the NFL do is hire an arbitrary council. Just hire this set of if you need police, FBI, whatever, hire this independent set of counsel. Tell them to come up with a mandate of what they think it should be. Let the NFL Players Association vote on it. Let the owners vote on it, and then let everything go to the independent counsel. Of course, Goodell's always going to have overriding. He's going to have overriding things. But if it goes to the independent counsel, then that way everybody can say they got a fair share.
True that. And I just feel like 6 games, I think it's a little too much, because I know incidents off the field and all that stuff, like the St. Patrick's Day thing, speeding ticket. I feel like that needs to be taken care of in-house for the Dallas Cowboys. At the end of the day, I know it's probably Ohio State job of building a young man, or like holding him accountable. But sometimes you have mentors in that building, the guys that make a lot of money, and his parents as well. To sit them aside, have veterans in the locker room say, hey, man, you really can't do these things. But I feel like the NFL just knew Jerry Jones wasn't going to do that. Role. So 6 games is enough for them. But for a reason, so when they can bring it down, when he said appeal, it's going to be appealed to 4 games. And that's going to be a fair enough for me.
Yeah, I would just like consistency. I mean, I'm saying it's a very touchy subject that we're trying to get corrected. And I mean, just be consistent with it. Get the same thing you get to Zeke that you should have gave to Josh Brown, that you should have did to Ray Rice. I mean, it shouldn't be all these different discrepancies that make a big difference in the actual punishment. I mean, you hit a woman, you get this exact punishment that we told you you're gonna get, that you know you're gonna get. So when you make the dumbass decision to put your hands on that woman, you know exactly what's gonna happen to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That way, guys don't think, maybe if I lay my hands on this woman, damn, I might get a little fine, maybe 2 games slap on the wrist. Like, no,
Mm-hmm.
a whole season or half a season out the window, that paper's gone. Guarantees in your contracts might be. I mean, honestly, you hit a player with the guarantees in his contract in the sport where the guarantees aren't already that good. They got to stop hitting women. I mean, they have to.
I mean, they do it with the drug policy. It's cut and dry with the drug policy. First fail, second fail, third fail. I mean, it's cut and dry. Why can't we just make this for everything? I mean, well, for everything that I mean, and within reason. I mean, obviously we can't do all crimes, but within reason.
Yeah, but what punishment do you think Zeke did deserve, though? Do you think, even with the allegations that aren't concrete convictions, do you think he needed at least a few games off or something? Start with James on that one.
I think fair enough. I say 2 games. So I feel like, okay, the off the field things, that's a game or so. Okay, I can see that, pulling a girl's shirt down St. Patty's Day. But I feel like in the criminal investigation, he was found not guilty. Obviously, the police hopefully did a pretty good job of trying to fact find and not do favoritism for Zeke. But at the end of the day, I say 2 games.
2 games. How about you, Jerry?
I say 4 games. It just a quarter of the season. I mean, 4 weeks. Just really to try to save. I mean, I don't want to say save Zeke, but Zeke isn't getting it. And I mean, Des Bryant said, well, I did some stupid stuff when I was young too. I mean, he just being young, he'll turn it around. Hopefully for Zeke, he will do that, because Zeke has a chance to be one of the best running backs this league has seen ever. But I just don't want to see him throw that type of talent away. So I would say 4 games, just so we say, okay, you're missing a quarter of the season. Also with 2 games, he probably can, if he missed 2 games, he probably can still hit some of those incentive numbers that he needs. That's a whole lot less likely with 4 games, and that's just further hitting him in the pocket.
Yeah, I say at least 2 games. I mean, I don't know. He's been kind of tied up in dumb stuff since college. I mean,
Yeah,
already had a Molly problem in college. Big party guy. But it's NFL. You're a brand now. You got to slow down and represent more than yourself. So I mean, at least 2 games. I probably lean more to 4, like Jerry said. But yeah, I don't know. You got to learn someday, or it's gonna be taken away from him.
hopefully for him. Yeah, hopefully for his sake.
All right, moving on. Next topic. We'll try and do these 2 topics together. But real quick, let's talk the Bills trade. I mean, you usually don't get pretty much a 3-team trade, almost kind of in the NFL. But Bills traded Sammy Watkins to the Rams for cornerback E.J. Gaines and a 2018 second rounder. They also traded Ronald Darby to the Eagles for Jordan Matthews and a 2018 third rounder. What the Bills gain in this, E.J. Gaines isn't a great cornerback, so I mean, I guess that's just a guy to fill a spot. Jordan Matthews is a solid number 2 guy. I wouldn't put him as your number 1 receiver, but I think the biggest thing for the Bills is they get 2 first rounders in next year's draft, and they get 2 second rounders in next year's draft. And I'm not sure if they have 2 third rounders now or just 1. But I mean, they're built for the future. So who in this trade out of 3 teams do you think got better the most, Jerry?
It's really hard. Honestly, it's hard to go against the Bills, even though I think they kind of sold out Tyrod for this year. But I gotta go. I gotta go lean towards the Bills just for what they can accumulate for the draft. Really, as far as player wise, it was really kind of wishy-washy. Sammy Watkins is good when he's healthy, but him and Jordan Matthews has put up better numbers than he has. So I mean, it's not Buffalo. Other than that, it's just people moving pieces, setting up things.
Not you, Phil.
This is a tough one for me. It's gonna sound silly saying it, but I'm gonna go with the Rams, man. For some reason, I feel like getting Sammy Watkins, I feel like it's a steal if healthy. If that kid can stay healthy, yes, it's a big if. It's capitalized. If he can stay healthy, I feel like with that new head coach coming up from the Redskins, I feel like they're gonna use Tavon Austin like he used Crowder. I feel like Robert Woods is a solid guy that's similar to Pierre Garçon. But Sammy Watkins got a superstar type guy that can take the top off the defense, make spectacular plays. For the Rams, offensive side is all on Jared Goff. I feel like he needs to step up this year. I feel like he'll play average. He's not gonna be that good. He's play average. Down the defensive side of the ball, and Wade Phillips, meaning no matter who you give him, quarterback, and trust his DBs. And they have some DBs that not superstars, but they're above average. And I feel like they get the job done. The Rams have a really good season this year. I say they probably finish up 7-9 and 8-8.
I'll say the Bills won just because I'm a guy that loves draft picks. I mean, I don't think they haven't showed any signs that they really want Tyrod for the future. I know they gave him a contract, but there's a lot of outs in that contract for him, so he's not really guaranteed to much. And I mean, as good as well as he's played, they haven't showed that they really give a shit. So I think the writing's kind of on the wall for Tyrod. And I mean, if you don't like the guy for whatever reason that is, why not have 2 first-round picks next year that you can either use to secure the number 1 pick or just pick whoever falls in your lap? I mean, it's supposed to be a good quarterback draft. Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen. I don't believe in whoever that Allen kid that they're trying to say is good. He's not going to be good.
Kid from Wyoming.
Yeah, he's not going to be good. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills draft him though. But yeah, I think they're building towards the future. You got to think Tom Brady, even though he says he's going to play till he's 45, at some point it's going to be life without Brady in the AFC East.
One more hit. Takes one big hit.
Hey, relax over there. Anyway, eventually some teams got to take over when Brady's gone, unless they extend Jimmy G somehow. But I don't think he's going to spend the next 4 years again behind Brady. But moving on to this high draft pick burnout in a year. Robert Aguayo, I think is his name. Out of Florida State, he was called the best kicker in college football history by pretty much everybody. And the Bucks loved this guy so much they traded up higher in the second round to draft this kid, and they cut him after his rookie year. So, Jerry, how big of a mistake was this? And should teams ever draft kickers and punters in general?
Well, to trade up is absolutely preposterous because nobody in the second round was going to draft him. So, I mean, just starting off at that point, it was just dumb. So he would have been there where they were waiting for him. It's more of a mental thing from him. I've read some camp takes where they're just like he's just mentally not there. Because in college, he arguably was the best kicker in college football history. He just hasn't made that transition to the NFL, so it's tough. I'll give him that, but if he's mentally not the Bears with teams drafting and kickers, yeah, I'm okay with that. But day 3, round 6, 7, like that. Now, I'm okay with drafting a kicker if you see a guy you really like, but I just don't think those guys you draft in round 1 and round 2 have to be guys that you say these guys can start this year or they can start next year, and that's just what you got to have out of those guys. You got to have a return on investment.
All right, what about you, James?
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say it's a mistake. All kickers gonna start off. I mean, he's a high draft pick. And let's think about Janikowski. He didn't start off well. John Gruden, he said he wanted to cut him after his first couple years. He was like, I don't like Janikowski. I thought it was a waste of a pick, blah, blah, blah. But you see him having stuck with him. Probably going to be another Hall of Fame kicker when this time comes. I believe so. I mean, that big of a leg, Janikowski is the man. But I feel like this guy's going to get his head right with Chicago Bears. I think he's going to be a good kicker in the league. I feel like he's going to have a good career.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing was, I mean, it's a huge mistake for two things. First of all, never should have drafted dude in the second round, like Jerry said. I mean, at worst, even though he was the greatest college football kicker, dude would have probably been there in the fourth round. Like, I don't think it was many teams like, yo, we really got to get this kid right now. Like, no one said that, especially not in the second round. Especially years after the Jaguars, who drafted a punter in the third round over Russell Wilson, and we caught a bunch of flack for that. You want to trade up in the second round for a kicker? I mean, come on, dog. But and then to cut him after 1 year. If I'm gonna put that much investment in the kid, I'm at least gonna give him 2, maybe even 3. But after 1 year, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's just, you threw a pick out the window for no reason. So I mean, that was dumb. As far as drafting kickers and punters, I don't think you should have a draft one before the 5th round. You snag one in the 5th round, might be a real good kid. But I don't think it'll be a long time. We see another guy drafted before the 4th round, as it should always be a long time. But moving on to outside of the NFL, the talk of the week, the McGregor sparring video. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows I'm a big McGregor fan. And there was a lot of talk about him in the boxer. I can't pronounce his name too well, Magiliano or something like that. But whatever. What is it?
Paulie. Just call him Paulie.
I'll call him Paulie. All right. DJ Paulie. Anyway, so it's a video. First of all, the guy got kicked out of camp. Well, he left camp because he got mad or whatever. Kept talking smack about Conor and the videos they were releasing. And the official video finally came out. Well, they originally only released a picture of him on the ground, but now they released a video because the guy kept talking. And he had been saying the whole time he got pushed down. I don't care what y'all said. I watched the video. Conor gave him hands and knocked him down. So
you mean them rabbit punches, aka hitting the man in the back of the head?
Hey, if a rabbit
that is illegal. Ben, I know you're not a big boxing fan, but I will tell you that is illegal. You cannot do that in boxing. That is illegal.
He threw one little one to the back of the head on the way down. The other ones were clean.
Okay.
James, was it a knockdown or a pushdown?
First of all, let's start off with this. If y'all think that Floyd Mayweather is paying attention to the sparring video, y'all are retarded. Because Floyd Mayweather knows he is no replica of Paulie in that sparring video. I'm just gonna say this. Y'all remember Oscar De La Hoya fought Floyd Mayweather? Who did he bring into camp?
Who?
Shane Mosley was a top boxer at that time. And Oscar De La Hoya got ready for Floyd Mayweather. So you telling me Conor McGregor bringing in this Paulie guy is supposed to help him beat Floyd, Mr. 49-0? Man, get out of here, man. He fought a retired boxer who does commentating for what, HBO or Showtime or whatever.
He's a promoter
or whatever. Come on now.
Anyway, was it a pushdown or a knockdown? Answer the question.
I don't know. It was terrible. I'm going to beat Floyd Mayweather. I'm sorry. I thought we were going to see some hand speed, nice form. Floyd's going to take advantage of that, and he's going to kill McGregor. I love you, McGregor, but you're not ready for Floyd, my guy. I'm sorry. Man.
Moving on to the next question. He gets a lot of flack about, what he does.
We just gonna cut my segment,
Jerry.
I can't give no comment.
Jerry, was it a push down or was it a knockdown?
Hell yeah, it was a push down. after he hit the man in the back of the head 2 times. Yes, it was a push down. If you think that Willie arm mess that he did in the ring is going to be arguably the greatest boxer of this generation, you are sadly mistaken. But one can hope. He has a puncher's chance. It's a boxing match, so he got a puncher's chance.
Okay.
I don't think he'll hit him 100 times in the whole fight.
He'll need it.
For those of you that are counting, that's less than 10 times a round. But yeah, he's
battles 10. But McGregor gets a lot of flack about what he does in his his little boxing videos, like punching bag, speed bag, and stuff. People think he's punching too slow and whatnot, but or he has bad technique. But I mean, to be honest, he's not even trying to do a boxing technique. He's using his own unorthodox style. He's using his own unorthodox boxing style that he uses in MMA. He doesn't have enough time to learn a regular boxing style, so I don't think it makes sense to critique him on his boxing style when he's going in there trying to do something he knows Floyd isn't seen. That's the only ace in the hole he's got. He's got a surprise Floyd, which is his old style.
Ben, what style are we supposed to use to critique him, and he is fighting a boxing match?
It's different types of boxing style. Everybody ain't got to be like that.
What are we supposed to use to critique him? He's a boxing match. What are we supposed to use to critique?
I'm just saying, y'all got to realize he has a different game plan than you think. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can't just think what he's doing is bad. That's his plan. That's his style. And
it's his plan to have the slowest hands I've seen in the last 20 years.
It's about precision, not power. And he's going to precisely put this, left fist right on Mayweather's jaw. And
out of all the professional boxers, Floyd Mayweather has fought Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo, Shane Mosley, all of these guys, and you telling me Conor McGregor is going to be the one to knock him out and hand him the L?
He's got the most different style than all of them. So
you know how disrespectful that is? That's like me saying right now, fucking Jared Goff is going to be a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
That's not.
Come on now. I'm just being real.
But like this, if you think it's disrespectful for me to say this, just know how disrespectful I'm gonna be on the podcast when Conor wins. Moving on.
Okay.
NBA released some new jerseys made by Nike. A lot of people saying they're good, and a lot of people saying they're bad. I'm gonna give my honest opinion straight off the back. I don't know what the hell the difference is. It looked like the same stuff to me. Besides, maybe the Kings got a little something different, Pacers got a little different. But honestly, if you took the Nike off it and whoever was the last brand, I wouldn't know the difference. But what do y'all think about the new jerseys? We'll start with you, James.
I like some of the new designs. I like the Pacers, Cleveland Cavaliers. But the one thing I dislike is the advertisements on the jerseys. I mean, I feel like that's trash, man. It's taking away the value. I don't want to buy a jersey. If I buy a Cavs jersey, I want a Goodyear symbol. That's whack. I don't want that. I understand it's soccer. That's professional soccer bag.
Fitbit sponsoring the T-Wolves, so maybe they're gonna do a discount. I wonder if they're gonna do like discounts. So like you get a Goodyear jersey, you're gonna get some some fresh tires for the car or something. Discount coupon deal.
That shit maybe. Trash to me.
They just trying to secure a little bag in the meantime. Don't have a good rich right there, boy. What you Michelin, man? Must be.
Firestone. He get Firestone tires. That's good. That's okay.
What you think about the jerseys, Jerry?
I was expecting some more flash, to be honest. They came out. I don't even know the names of like all these different types of jerseys they supposed to have, but I thought it was gonna be some flashy, some new, like the Christmas jerseys. For the last few years, they had did something different with the Christmas jerseys. The Christmas jerseys have actually been pretty good. They've done the Latin Nights, and some of those jerseys have been really stylish. Something that you like. Oh, that looks okay. But I mean, it's just other than it being Nike. I mean, obviously. Nike's probably going to use a different material. It might look different like that, but I'm like James on this one. I don't want to buy a jersey that has Fitbit on it or Goodyear or any of those other advertisers that are going to be. I don't. So that kind of draws away from it a little bit. But I mean, I guess they got to do what they got to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're Nike, bro. Like, throw some flair on it, throw some swag. I mean, in the '90s, we had the Grizzlies. Pretty much had artwork on their jumps. They had everything on the sleeves. Just it's the small details. Like even like how Florida State's jersey are. They got the little tomahawks on the side or whatever. Like throw some small things in there that really make the jerseys look sweet.
Yeah.
Their main name brand like style is Oregon. Oregon is flashy as hell. So your NBA jerseys should look sweet. But I mean, I don't know. It'll come in time, I guess. But they got the thumbs down for me to begin with. Moving on to a more animated topic for the night, which pretty much will be our last topic before parting shots, because got a lot of stuff to digest, and it's a lot of different pieces. We're gonna start with Hue Jackson's comments. It's been a couple players recently, Michael Bennett and Marshawn Lynch, that chosen to not stand for the anthem. Lynch said it's something he's been doing his whole career. I don't know about that because I feel like you would have heard about it before. But anyway, so Bennett and Lynch, they're not standing. So it continues Kaepernick's narrative on racial injustice in America through NFL. And Hugh was asked how he felt about it. He says he doesn't have a problem with it as long as his players don't do it, which my thing is he's an African-American coach coaching in a league where 70% of the players are African-American. And I don't know the percentage for head coach on black head coaches, but it's I think like 10%, maybe less. Probably.
We can probably name them really quickly. Hue Jackson,
Mike
Tomlin, the guy that just started for I forgot his name. The guy that started for the Chargers new
Anthony Lynn.
The Chargers new coach. Who?
Chargers coach black.
Yeah, I think his last name was like Lynn or something.
Lennis, yeah, he was the defensive coordinator. Yeah, is that
Vance Joseph?
Vance Joseph.
It's like
Marvin Lewis.
Like 5.
And Marvin, is that it?
Yeah.
5.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
I think 5.
It ain't 70%. It ain't what the league black to whatever other race ratio is. So it's backwards. So he says his players shouldn't. He doesn't want them to sit for the anthem, but he doesn't have a problem with players sitting for the anthem outside of Cleveland. It's backwards. I'm gonna go with Jerry first on this. What do you think about Hugh?
All right. First, I'm gonna start off by saying I was a big Hue Jackson fan at first, just because of what because Hugh was one of those first guys that was still trying to break into the head coaching ranks. I thought he deserved a head coaching job, and then he gets the Cleveland Browns, which, of course, they set him up for failure with the Cleveland Browns. But he went there, just no matter what. First things first, as the head coach of any football team, you're supposed to be the role model for that football team. To a lot of those guys, and I know you hear more about it in college, but in the NFL too, to a lot of those guys, you're a father figure. Some of those guys in the NFL got the same problem those guys had in college. They're just a little older now. They grew up without dads in their lives. You're supposed to be a father figure. The same stuff we talked about with Buddy Stevens a couple of weeks ago, and how we thought he was kind of leaving that role for some of those players, and he didn't really stand up to that role for the players. Hue Jackson is supposed to be in that role for the players. They're supposed to be able to come to Hue, say, Hue, I need to talk to you about some man-to-man stuff. I can and Hugh's supposed to be like, all right, come on in. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna work on this. We're gonna talk about this. So, for Hue Jackson to say, I'm okay with these guys doing it, but as long as they don't do it on my team, is one of the most Uncle Tom-esque statements I have ever heard from an African American man in power in the NFL. He's a head coach. He just told all of his we talked about his young players that they drafted. All 3 of them happen to also be African American. He just told those 3 guys, well, if you do this standing up for what you think you need to do as a man, I don't have your back. And that's absolutely ridiculous as a head coach, the guy that they look to, and furthermore, as an African American man in the NFL that people look up to. Whether Hue Jackson realizes it or not, people look up to him. They're college coaches who are starting jobs as GAs this fall, not getting paid, saying, "Man, one day I want to be one of those NFL head coaches." So people already look up to him, and for him to say that is absolutely horrible. His locker room has to have changed after that, because they said, "Hue, I thought you had our back." Now they know, well, I'm stepping up for what I believe is right, but Hue don't got my back. Now I got to worry about, oh, does he cut me? The same thing with Cap all over again. And this is happening with Hue Jackson, who they look to and say, well, maybe Hue will look out for us. I feel like he got our back. It's surprising. I thought Shannon Sharp hit the nail on the head. I know he didn't go as far as me and James just went. He wanted to. He probably couldn't say that on the air. We can say that a little bit differently here. But I was shocked. I had really, Hue? Really? And I was deeply disappointed. Furthermore, with what has happened this week. Just put that in the context of what has happened this week and this weekend, and what even happened more today with the person that's supposed to be the leader of this country. And morally, it's just completely morally wrong. I couldn't play for Hue Jackson right now. Maybe give me a few weeks, but I could not play for Hue Jackson right now. I feel strongly in saying that.
What about you, James?
I agree with everything Jerry said. So I'm more shocked from this standpoint. A lot of people don't know the Cincinnati Bengals are at, because they deal with troubled players from back in the day, from Chris Henry when he passed away, with all the guys from Corey Dillon to Chad Johnson. And now you think about, we got Joe Mixon, Pac-Man Jones, and Vontaze Burfict. These guys, as players right now, we also promote coaches. A lot of people don't think about this. A lot of head coaches come out of Cincinnati, of all races. We didn't have Jay Gruden, Mike Zimmer, TV coach for a long time, and we had Hue Jackson. And as an owner with the Cincinnati Bengals, he's always helped the African American community. He's been loyal to a black coach for over 14 years in Marvin Lewis, in a playoff win, but it likes what he does as a man with the players, and he builds character leaders. And for example, we have Pac-Man Jones. I guess it's always going to be himself. Yes, he makes mistakes. He made a terrible one this offseason. But that showed, the owner even came out, we're going to stick beside him because I believe in him. And Hue Jackson to come from a culture like that over to the Cleveland Browns. And I feel like it shocked me, because I'm like, you're around that culture. You see what's going on. You should bring that over with your leadership. And to say something like that, which is an Uncle Tom statement, I feel like it's disrespectful to every African American man. And another example I just want to give out right quick is Seattle Seahawks. I have never heard the Seattle Seahawks owner speak out when he has very intelligent black men like Richard Sherman, racial prejudice and all that, and Michael Bennett, who says he's going to sit down for the national anthem, and I salute him. And I feel like you have these guys giving these young black men a voice and letting them be themselves. And then for you to say that, racist people voices, the people don't understand the Colin Kaepernick movement and everything that's going on in the NFL, you keep giving them hope. And you sound stupid on our end as an African-American man. And I'm very frustrated with Hue Jackson. I feel like this is like a plea for help. And a lot of people don't understand this, because we don't know. I don't know who the man is for the Cleveland Browns, whoever the owner is. Maybe he's a conservative guy. He said a very conservative statement to maybe save his job.
On the owner for the Browns, I heard his son's like the governor of Tennessee. So politics are involved. So yeah.
So, on that note, we already know why he said that statement. Disrespectful, and I feel like Hue Jackson needs to be checked by the other black coaches in the NFL, his counterparts like his Marvin Lewis and Vance Joseph, like Tomlin, to reach out to him and just let them know. And I feel like at the end of the day, man, Hue Jackson's wrong, just like Michael Vick was wrong. They both need to come out and apologize and just put the statement out. Stop trying to please America that is against everything the NFL stands for and doesn't understand what Colin Kaepernick. Stop giving them ammo to go on, like the Jason Whitlock and Colin, whatever his name is, to get rise out of people. And if we keep giving it to them, we keep giving them a voice. I say, but I feel like Hue Jackson, your Uncle Tom, please cut it out. You came from a culture that helps black men, build black coaches, and you say something like this from a place that helped build you and gave you multiple opportunities to come back and be offensive coordinator that led to you being an offensive coordinator to a head coach. And you say something like this, which is absolutely ridiculous, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything y'all said. I didn't see the point of Hugh even saying what he had to say, especially I saw Shannon say a real good thing on it earlier today when he was saying he got to thank all the people that came before him, all the coaches that came before him. And I mean, like, you ain't the first to get to where you are. You're not even close to good compared to some of the guys that have been where you are. And for you to say what you said, especially in the climate of what happened this past weekend, is kind of crazy. And moving on, we're going to touch on this past weekend. I mean, because if y'all don't know, all of us are from Virginia. And Charlottesville just about an hour away from me and a couple of hours away from my buddies. But after what happened this weekend, do you think the importance of what Kaepernick did last year and what he's still standing for now has really, I guess, grown even more strength from what happened this past weekend? Jerry.
I just got one question for all of us and maybe some of our listeners and viewers as well. Just when morally are we going to stand up and just say right is right and wrong is wrong? We can disagree about a lot of things. And we have some disagreements on here, and we talk, and we're still cordial, and we can disagree about a lot of things in America, and that goes across the whole spectrum of ideas. But there are some things that are morally ought to hurt us all and morally ought to affect us the same way. Like when we see people drive a car into 20 people and back up and drive away and kill one young lady and injure 19 others, that should morally be reprehensible to all of us. That there should be no justification in how that happened, why that happened, oh this, oh that. No, he literally took his car and ran into 20 other people. So I have always said what Cap was standing for was right, and that was my argument last year, and that's what we talked about on the podcast. So I'm not going to get into a long idea about that, but I always said you can say you can disagree with how he is protesting, but for you to say that you disagree with what he is protesting, you need to morally go home and look at yourself in the mirror and think about why. Because he said he was protesting because he felt like many people in America do not stand up for African American people and people of color. And that's what he was protesting. So if you got a problem with that, then you morally need to go home and look at yourself in the mirror.
Let me hop on this real quick before I give it to Fu. I want to hop on that last thing Jerry said. He's talking about he's doing it for people that aren't representing America. And my thing, Cap, he never did anything wrong with me. And I hate the narrative. He would say, I'm saying he's got character issues. He never did anything wrong. He's a hero. He literally is a hero. And I love all the players that still standing up for his cause. You know, you can do it in different ways. I'm not saying you have to sit for the anthem, but I respect people to do. I respect people to raise their fists like Malcolm Jenkins. Just letting the message get out there. But I think the next step is, I mean, the whole thing is he wants to represent people that don't have a voice. And to the white players in the NFL, I think it's the time's over for y'all to be quiet on this. Time's over. I'm saying nothing's really gonna change until you guys start talking. Because when we start talking about it, we get ignored and called all types of names and this and that. But I mean, buddy, these are your brothers that you're playing with, playing against, playing for, guys that you love. When are you as a white man in the NFL going to step up for us? So that's my message to white players in the NFL. I mean, you guys love us, but show the love. You know what I'm saying? Show the love. And I think it's cowardice until a few white players really step up and put their necks out there. That's a few guys do it. I like Chris Long. He speaks very, very strongly about the topic a lot. But you know what I'm saying, you guys have a huge voice in America, and let it be heard. But I'll move on to you.
For me, this is a very touchy subject. It still baffles me. It's 2017, and we still have hate groups who hate people, not because they know them, it's because of the color of their skin. You don't know my character. You don't know me personally. You don't know what I've been through. You haven't even said hello to me. But if you see me on the street, you hate me. This is a time that everybody needs to do this. Challenge your white friends and associates. I feel like sometimes with some of them, when the police officer gets killed, you hear their voice. Gets killed, a rally like this happens, they're quiet and timid. And some of my white friends do speak out, and I appreciate that. But it's now to challenge the ones that's usually quiet, that say they're your friend or associate. Never. Because as a black man, as black people, we can't do it by ourselves. We need them. We need that extra help. And challenge your friends and associates. Don't be afraid to lose a friend. Because if they can't stand with you in this moral battle, then you don't need them in your life. So I feel like we need to challenge it as Americans, as black people. Challenge our white friends. Ask them what they think about it. Ask about their opinion. The thing about it is, the Confederate fucking flag is not heritage. It's racism. Simple as that. Come on, we're all capable. We're all educated people. We can open the history books. War is about, and we understand it. And it still shows that people till this day are still teaching their kids racist shit. Black people don't hang out with Latinos. Don't hang out with white people, blah, blah, blah. We shouldn't be that way. Don't judge anybody off their appearance, their character, how they present themselves. Are they good to you? Are they a loyal friend? And stuff like that. Until, as Americans, we could come together, go against this hate group that people don't want to call it. Because at the end of the day, the government never got rid of the KKK. K is part of the government. They did everything to get rid of the Black Panthers, any other group that was against the KKK, and the white nationalists or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was a different version. And I feel like it's shown. It's shown a little bit when Kaepernick took a knee. Simple knee. When we was out in the streets being rowdy, they said, calm it down. Why don't you give a peaceful protest? Kaepernick did something peaceful. Getting into the sports. Yourself in sports, a white man's game that's owned by a whole bunch of white men, blackly dominated, and you still can't voice your opinion. But I'm just go back to the moral of my point. Challenge your white friends. See if they're with you. See if they will stand with you. This is a moral thing. It's not a race thing. To me, it's not about race anymore. It's morally right. And we have a bigot as a president who just can't say it's morally wrong because he has people close to him, people in that White House who love white nationalists and maybe a part of the KKK. Old white men. And it's sad. Common sense should know. And it's very upsetting and it's a very touchy subject. This note, but I feel like, man, America is far away from racism ever being gone. Yeah. But we can do better as a people. We can do better as a generation. We can try to ease the gap. And that's all I got to say.
All right. Well, we're going to head on to our parting shots. I guess my parting shot is I know seeing you brothers came into camp a couple of days ago. So I'm going to give y'all a shout out. Hope for health during camp. Hope you guys work hard out there. I know you will. Hey, we've been in the NJAC for a couple years now. Y'all bring that ring back, bring that ship. Know some of y'all on that. I think the seniors, you guys are a shoo-in to get a ring. But after that, the next guys, I mean, you don't know when your ring's going to come. And make it happen this year. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait on it. You know what I'm saying? Do it this year. As seniors, I don't know how many of y'all, actually got too much burn when we were playing, but I mean, my thing when I was a senior, I didn't have much burn on the championship rings before. So going in my senior year, I really wanted to earn that ring. So y'all gonna get a ring, but earn this ring the way I know y'all can. Y'all were great last year. You gotta be better this year. So shout out to senior football, and I hope you guys stay healthy and strive on to the goal at hand. Yeah, I'll say something.
Oh yeah, just last part shot. I want to piggyback off of what you and Few said, and last thing is morals should have no color, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. And I'm gonna leave. Shout out to all the CNU boys. Just keep working hard in camp, and I'm gonna leave with a Martin Luther King Jr. quote that is never the wrong time to do the right thing. So, just hopefully we can get some people step up.
What about you, James?
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the CNU football boys. You know what I'm saying? I'll earn that ring, man. It's nothing better than winning the conference, especially doing it with your teammates. But I got 2 parting shots. You know what I'm saying? We're weeks away for seeing Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Blowing out Florida State by 21 points. You already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Tell Quan if you don't place any bets on it. You know what I'm saying? He got my Twitter @name. His bet. It's gonna be a 21-point win. And secondly, did y'all see them Duke Blue Devils? And another top recruit. I mean, road to 6. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. Road to 6. Coach K, we trust. Got 100K wins already. Might get you know what I'm saying, about 1,000 at Duke. You already know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, Duke back on top. Alabama football about to take over.
That's all the time we got the show. I'm about to cut off James.